I wanted to show a couple things in this video. One is how to transfer your UVs once you've done it on one model to an identical model. And then another way to kind of block out your texturing to make it easier to find how things correspond between the UV map and the model. So regarding transferring UVs, if I look at the UV editor here, um, you can see I have UV mapped this side. I have not UV mapped that side. So I'll select this one first, shift select that one, go to Mesh, Transfer Attributes, Options. On the sample space we want Component and then Transfer. And then now if we look at this one by itself, you can see it has the same UV map as that one. The second thing I wanted to show was a way to kind of easily use the paint tools in Maya to help you block out the the, the texturing you want to do. So I'm going to assign a new material for this. Right mouse click, assign new material Lambert, and then I'm going to right mouse click again and go to Paint, 3D Paint. A couple sort of tricks with 3D Paint. The first thing, before you paint, you have to do assign edit textures. And I'll just use I think 2048 by 2048 is probably big enough for this. You could potentially go up to 4096 by 4096, and the image file format, the my IFF file is fine. Now after I've done that, it allows me to paint. I could start by, for example, flooding it with a color, like maybe I want to start with that, flood paint, and that fills it in, or maybe lighter. Is that too light? Anyway, this is just to block it in anyway. So then I was looking at some reference. This is actually the original model from the ILM archives. And you can see it's got that kind of orange color there. And so what I was going to show here is, I mean, you could go find the exact orange, but I'm just going to estimate maybe a little redder. Okay. And, you know, orange square, and then little orange box, and then bigger one there. And so what I can do is just kind of block these out roughly where I want them. This is just to give me a clue about, you know, where this stuff goes. There was a little box here. I'm just drawing with my mouse, which is why, you know, this looks kind of terrible. But this is just to get the basic position. Anything else we want to put in there while we're at, you know, like you could, those are actual model details, but you could put in those. You know, I could say, oh, there's going to be some burn marks here, so maybe I could block those in as well. Hold down B and increase my brush size, make sure I have a really soft brush, and then, oops, let's change the color. I think I changed the, anyway, and maybe decrease the opacity for this. Sometimes when you undo with paint, you have to hit undo a few times. And that, you know, just give me an idea of where I want to put the burn marks. Okay. The other trick is that you have to save the texture when you're done painting, or it won't save the image. And it's saying it's putting it right here. So I can see the location of that. I'm going to copy that and open that in Photoshop. And it's not finding it, which is interesting. So let me just try to find this by default. Source images, 3D paint textures, color.iff. I think it's that one. Yeah. Okay, so that's what I've painted. You can see you can't see the UVs on here, so for that, I'm just going to do the same thing we did before in the UV editor and use this little camera thing. And with the same settings I did before, let's change the name. Call it left top piece. I don't know. UV. Okay. And I have that in Photoshop. Let me just check where I put that. Just in the images directory. Okay. Ultimately, all this stuff should go in your source images directory. Okay, and then I could take one and put on the other either direction. That makes sense to you. Just make sure this is, whoops. Just make sure. Maybe I should have gone the other direction because I'm messing this up. I'll drag this one into that one. Just drag this beneath there. And so now I can see how the rough things I painted correspond to the model. And so then I can paint them for real in here. So maybe I'll make a new layer. And I can even grab this color. Maybe make it a little bit more. Something like that. And then just use this as a guide. Maybe following the contours of the Alt backspace to fill that. And this way you can it's just a way of kind of mapping it out. Oh, I didn't do a very good job on that, but I'm being pretty messy. I mean, the whole point is you can do this a little more cleanly, but I'm rushing through it. And then maybe I'll make another layer that's just this, just the gray. Hide the UVs and save this as a Photoshop file. I like to put it in my source images directory actually. And then just going to delete history on that and go to this Lambert and go to the color, and I'll just replace that with this one. And you can see I've got those on there in about the right place. I can see I've done it not perfectly shaped, but anyway, so the point of that was using the paint tool to help you map out where you want to put your textures.